got a smaller audience.
You feel better now?
Yes. Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Priestley, the rest of the board. It's my pleasure to come before you this evening. I'll welcome you to my high school. And I don't have a fancy-dancy slideshow or anything. I'm just going to talk to you about the facts and talk to you from my heart. Okay? First off, I have given you a copy of our school data for the last school year, and we did not make AYP. We did not make AYP in any subgroup. We had actually, we had 100% participation though, and this was actually the first year that I can remember that we had no makeups in our elementary grades. Every student was there every day to take the test. So we thought that was a positive note. When we've looked at our data, and in there we did see an increase in our low SES scores. So that was one positive area that we could that we saw. When we've looked and we've thought about what could have been the causes that our scores turned out the way they did this year. The year before last, we had actually 3 interventionists in the elementary grades, and we had 2 reading interventionists in 3rd grade through 5th grade, and we did not have this past year. So we do think that that could greatly affect our scores in reading. We also had several substitutes throughout the year because we had a lot of staff that had major medical issues that we lost our staff throughout the year. And then, of course, at the beginning of the year last year, we had a change in administration, and that was about the end of September, the 1st of October. And so that is kind of a uproar in the school. We also wanted to let you know that one of our biggest goals last year too was school culture and climate. The year before last year, we did a culture survey with our staff, and we were a balkanized climate. We had a balkanized climate, and it was pretty much a top-down administration. There was no distributive leadership. Last year, we realized that we had to change our culture and climate, and within 7 months, we became a comfortable collaborative culture. And so this year, that is not a goal that we necessarily have to address. We just have to maintain. So we're very excited. And to let you know just a little bit about our culture, if you don't know, when we consolidated, having 2 separate buildings, and actually 3, because our preschool is at the board's office, that was a hard thing for our school to come together. For the first 3 years, some staff members didn't even know each other on the elementary side to the middle school side. But as I stand before you today, we are all working as a solid team now, and everybody knows everybody, and we are working very, very well. And that happened really throughout last school year. We came to become such a good culture and climate. Our next steps to help us improve our achievement for next year. This summer we had a staff retreat where we refocused on our vision, mission, statements, and our core beliefs. We also are working on a comprehensive analysis of our data root causes. And we established our SMART goals from those, which I will go over here in just a minute. You have a copy of. We're working on data walls for all of our grade levels and all of our classrooms. We also are adding more structure to our teams. We think that the 1 hour delay in the morning will help us greatly, but we're adding structure to that. They actually have curriculum plans, the teachers do now. And I've gotten help through some outside sources, I mean not outside, but extra contracted sources to help me, and also the June Harless Center is working with us on that. So their teams will definitely emphasize data-driven decision-making and instruction. We also, we have, with our SIG grant, our school improvement grant, we have an addition of 3 interventionists, and I just found out on Friday that we are getting that funding, so we will get those interventionists hired back into our system. We also have a Read 180, which is a supplemental reading program for our middle school grades that will be hired with that grant. And we also have brought skills back into our middle school grades. Last year it was once a month, and this year I have added that back into 3 days a week with our middle school, and they're divided up into their needs according to the WES test. And we're also looking at our elementary grades for to divide our kids up into a skills period block for 30 to 40 minutes. And we hope that that will also help with our support for personalized learning to give them those intervention times. Our focus of our school goals, I told my staff that we have to feel a sense of urgency, and we have to get our achievement, we have to raise it. And so we are working very, very hard, I assure you of that. If you look at SMART goals, these are the goals that we, after we looked at our data as a staff, we worked 2 Saturdays ago, and we came up with our SMART goals, and that is to increase our reading language arts, minimum of 5% over the next year. And we've got our action steps in there and our subtasks, and I won't read those to you if you have any questions. And then our math to increase 5%. And one of our areas that we're really concerned with is our special ed subgroup. And we're not quite sure how to go about this, but we actually want to ask the state to maybe come in and look at how we are utilizing our special ed teachers and the schedules for those, so that maybe we can do better with what we have. But if you have any questions or anything about our goals or our action steps at any other time, feel free to call me, and I will be happy to talk to you about that. Also, I didn't say, but our attendance rate was 96.5 last year too. With facility needs, the only thing I do want to thank the board for allowing us to have a lot of painting done over last school year and this summer. We really appreciate that. But if you would come and walk through our building, you would still see that our stairs need repainted, our main hallway and our elementary needs repainted. We worked really hard and tried to get our gym repainted because it still says HHS, and we truly want to become a Hamlin Pre-K 8. So we would love for it to say Hamlin Bobcats instead of HHS. But we couldn't get the top painted, we got the bottom blue painted. But if you could help us with any of that painting and maybe give some painters, that is something we would really appreciate. We just want to use what we have and make it very presentable for our students and our parents and our staff. I think that's all I have. Questions?
Board, have any? I think I want to ask a question or two.
If I can answer it.
Oh, I know you can. You said there that you all had met last Saturday.
Saturday before last.
Okay. Now, is that, do you have a grant or something that's funding that?
Yes, we have. It's through our school improvement grant, our SIG grant.
Okay. Could you tell us how much, what funding do you have in that SIG grant?
how much money?
Yeah.
Last year, I think we had 300,000, 350,000, but this year, actually, we're getting about 750,000.
Okay. Now, do you have, is all of that money budgeted? Do you have ideas?
Yes. Before the school year ends, and they give us an amount that we might get, and we have to go ahead. I sit down with Mrs. Coburn, and we go ahead and we budget for that year and how all that money is going to be utilized.
So you're saying that in the current school year, you have like $700,000, is that what you said?
For this year, and it has to be spent within that year.
When does this expire? I mean, will you?
It would be next September.
I mean, do you anticipate next year having another source? Is this the last year?
It was a 3-year grant, and this is our 3rd year.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit on some of the things that you're going to do with that money?
Yes. And we have, of course, I have Mr. Steve Hawley, who works with me as a mentor for myself and for our teams. And then the Junior Harvest Center is going to come in and collaborate with us, with our teams. They're going to work on, at first they were just going to work on reading and data-driven decisions in our teams. But after looking at our scores, I saw that our writing, even though our writing is higher than our reading, it still dropped this year. And so I've asked them to also work on writing with our staff, instructional strategies. We also do lots of professional development throughout the year. That's how we do work on Saturdays or after school. We also have technology is written into that grant. We are looking to possibly go to the Model Schools Conference in the summer with that. Trying to think off the top of my head.
You mentioned your interventionists. Are those being paid from that?
Yes.
Some of the schools do that?
Our Read 180 in middle school, which is a supplemental reading program, is paid through the school improvement grant. Our interventionists have a parent coordinator that is also paid through the grant. Last year we had after school, which was paid through the grant also.
Do you have after school now?
It's not in our budget. We don't have it right now, but I think that we are going to transfer, because we can look at that and transfer as needed. So we will probably look at that.
These 3 interventionists, like what grade levels do they work?
They will work, I will have 2 in the elementary. One will be K through 3, and the other one will be, will work with 3rd, 4th, and 5th too. And then I have 1 full-time that will work with the middle school grades.
Do they just work with selected students?
Mm-hmm. The teachers, matter of fact, right now, because we were waiting on the funding, but Dr. Markle signed our funding on Friday after looking at our plan. But I've got the teachers already looking at their reading scores, their DIBEL scores from what they had last year and where they are, what they have shown for the last 3 weeks and who they think needs that extra interventionist time. I think it was a great help the year before last. You know, it wasn't just regular ed students that got that interventionist time. It was also special ed students. It was all students that needed that extra instruction. And that's what we hope to utilize for this year.
So you aren't limited in which students can be instructed with? Anything else? Anybody?
I would like to make a comment about the school improvement grants that we have been privileged to have. There are certain guidelines that they do set down, you know, that we have to abide by within the grant itself. They set parameters of what we can. Yes, a little string here and there, what we can use it for.
Because as you know, we have a 4th-5th split this year. And my idea was, let's take some of that money and not have a split, because I would love to not have a split grade. But that is not something we can use that money for. So that was like,
It's restricted.
shucks.
That's the kind of thing that's, you know, I'm glad we found out that if we get asked those questions, we can talk about that.
All right, nothing else, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Vicki.
And now, Lincoln County High School, Mr. Sachs.
I'm not sure this is going to be the best way to get. Well, I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to sort of stand in front of Mr. McCormick, but he would like, am I too close?
You're fine.
He's pretty technology savvy, and the way he has this set up, I think it's going to be the easiest way for him to be able to move through the slides. But I do want to welcome everyone to Lincoln County High School for our for your board meeting as well as our LSIC presentation. And I always like working with Ms. Ferguson, just an absolutely fine colleague, and I'm excited to see some of the things that she's been doing at Hamilton PK8.